How's it going, guys? This is Win, and today I want to show you a giant hog deck. It works pretty well. It's a good combination, and it's one that I actually had some trouble with before, and I was trying to find a new deck to show you guys, and I was looking at this one, thinking about what had given me some trouble before, and then to try to work it in and see if I can make a deck around it. And the giant and the hog is a really good combination because, one, they're two pretty heavy cards that aren't terribly expensive, and they're two cards that people will actually deal with in a much similar way. So think about it, if someone puts down an Inferno Tower or a Tombstone or even maybe Elite Barbs or something like that, you can draw out their counter card and then hit them on the other side with with the giant or the hog, whichever one you didn't use the first time. So it's really good, and it kind of forces your opponent to get out of rotation, not be able to handle both of those cards at the same time. And this is actually also only 3.3. It's really kind of cheap, honestly. That Ice Spirit in there really helps keep the cost down. And the Tombstones, you can kind of cycle around fast enough if you're trying to get, back to a building or something like that. So you can always have that up. You're never going to really be caught in a spot where you can't put down your Tombstone to stop whatever your opponent has coming at you. So first, I want to show you, I've got a pretty decent win streak here. This bottom one, I won 3-0 because the guy basically rage quit. So I don't think I'll show you that replay. It was a Lava Hound Balloon. I was thinking maybe the weakness of this deck would be some kind of air, offensive. I guess I could show you. It's a really short one. Obviously in replays it doesn't show when the person quits, but I think it's going to be pretty obvious. So he's just going to go Hound pretty early. And I'm going to attack on the other side. He puts down minions to try to stop that, and you see the Ice Spirit and the Zap's going to completely destroy that. And then by him putting the minions down, he couldn't really support that Lava Hound terribly well. And you see I pulled his balloon over, and I was able to stop it before it actually got a real hit down. And you see I actually tried to put my Musketeer behind my Giant, didn't get it. And it's right at this point when he has all those skeletons coming in, and I don't know if he disconnected or what, but you see I had taken a ton of health off that tower, and he's not doing anything, so I'm like, alright, I'm just going to attack with the hog. I think at this point it said opponents left the match, so you know the rest. We're just going to come in and get this 3-crown victory. You see, you can attack pretty fast when you get all these cards put together. Some good combinations with the Giant there, and the minions coming in over the top. That is one combination that has worked well with the Royal Giant. People will put the Royal Giant down, then send 3 minions over the top, and the Royal Giant's just going to tank a ton in the front. So, minions can be a powerful card. I think it is very underrated. You're going to see I do get some good elixir trades in these other replays that I want to show you. With those minions, they only cost 3, and they can shut down some pretty heavy attacks with just your arena tower shooting at it. Like, for instance, a minion horde of 6 minions can basically be shut down with just 3 minions, which is really good. So let's jump into some real replays where guys didn't actually rage quit. So let's check this one out. This guy is running Golem Elite Barbarians. It's a pretty popular combination right now. It is pretty hard to stop, but I will say I do think I held him off a little, pretty well here. I was able to cycle around, I think, much more quickly than he can, because with that Golem sitting in his hand, he's really got to commit to using it. So I'm gonna hit him with the Fireball, get those minions in with that Elite Barb, and at this point, I think I say wow. Did I not say wow? I think I was thinking about saying wow, but I didn't, because if you see, our towers have a difference of 2 hit points, 2006 to 2004. So clearly he's off to a fantastic start, just absolutely destroying me right now. He's up by 2 hit points. I mean, I have no idea how I'm going to come back from this. I guess technically we can call it a comeback, right? If we're down by 2 hit points, this is going to be an insane comeback right here. And you see I'm going to be able to go hog on that left side, take those archers out with the Fireball. Didn't really lose that much. Even though I fireball those archers, it was just like a 1 elixir kind of disadvantage I had. But you see, the Tombstone, it's going to shut down that Golem pretty decently. But you see, he gets behind with that Ice Wizard, and that kind of did a lot of damage here. So, unfortunately, I'm really tapped for elixir right now. I forgot that he gets in and takes this tower so soon. But I guess that previous push, though, was a good example of me getting in on the other side, because he can't defend against the hog when he's got the golem, you know, because that is a pretty big commitment on his part. So I'm going to get back around to that tombstone. Like I mentioned earlier, you're always going to be able to cycle around to it because this is a cheap enough deck. The giant is really your most expensive card. So at this point, I've got that musketeer sneaking in on the right side, getting it one hit off. And I'm going to go giant. And unfortunately with this game, he keeps going golem as soon as I go giant. So I really can't catch a break. The only thing I can really try to hope to do at this point is have my giant just like, you know, block everything that's going to come behind that golem. And I got kind of lucky on this right side. You see, I got my hog in, and I managed to get one minion in over top. And that one minion got like a dozen hits off, which is a ton of damage. And then Musketeer shutting down that golem. You know, my giant held back that Ice Wizard and those archers, so it kind of stopped him from building up a better push. Although at this point, I'm a little nervous because I have been caught in some situations where I've got both towers down to like no health, and you know, I just haven't been able to take one. But here, I go in, I kind of overcompensated a little bit with that zap just to make sure that I killed that tower. But it doesn't seem like he's running a building at this point, so he can't stop my hog really in any way. And unfortunately, you see, one elite barb didn't pull to my tombstone that I put down, so he's got me down to only 446, and now I'm kind of counter pushing, trying to get through here. He's at 547, so unfortunately for him, with a really heavy deck like with the golem, he's not able to do much. And I'm not sure why I put that log down. I think he might have just been trying to cycle around. But that musketeer in the middle, really good for some quick, fast damage. The musketeer, if you put it in the middle, your opponent only has like half a second to respond to it. So you see, as soon as that musketeer locks onto the tower, even if he puts anything down like those elite barbarians, the musketeer is going to keep shooting at that tower. That's a huge help. That's why I wasn't worried when I saw I still had like 400 hit points, and I knew he couldn't really do anything with it because he was only running fireball, log, and zap. I guess those three spells together might have done it, but that's a lot of elixir that he's going to have to put out. So musketeer in the middle takes down that tower, no problem. And then, you know, easy fireball. And that was the first one I want to show you. Second one, this one's a little crazy. It was pretty close. I personally don't run hog that much, so I know how to beat hog with all of the decks that I do normally run. You know, Lava Hound. What else do I run? You know, I was playing around with the spawners and stuff like that for double elixir, so I know how to shut down hog. It was just weird for me because I don't ever play with hog against hog, so I was just like, well, what do I do in this instance? And unfortunately, you see, he goes spear goblins, and that's gonna take away my ice spirit. So my my hog gets in there, and now he goes hog in front of that musketeer, and that musketeer's clinging into like a little tiny bit of health. And you see, I really start to use the giant for the first time. I don't think I used it much in the last replay, other than just kind of like on defense. But here, I think I get in, and I'm able to, I think it gets one punch off, and the minions behind it get a few hits off. Again, you know, using that tank, and then putting the minions over the top, really helpful. And this zap grabs two of those spear goblins, gets that bomber down where it doesn't have enough health to actually get a shot off. The bomber, I think, if it gets in on your tower full health, will get one bomb off. It takes like 4 arrows to kill it. But obviously zapping that bomber made it so that it didn't get a hit off. And then he's going to go with another bomber. It looks like he cycled back around to that pretty fast. And the fireball is going to take that out. And his tower is also down to just 82 hit points. Not bad. Sacrificing that ice spirit, you see, to take out the fire spirits. Really trying to keep that tower alive. Even though it's only at 272, I'm not ready to give it up yet. I'm going to make him fight for it. Even, you know, if he had to burn a rocket on it, that'd be great. Oh, excuse me. Except at this part, I don't know that he has rocket yet. So, again, I'm going to go musketeer on the right. Trying to maybe like build up a little bit of a push, get through that tower, and then get to his king tower. But it looks like he hesitated too much and let me take that tower with the musketeer. He didn't get his elite barbs down soon enough, and they will get in and take my tower. But now, once I've taken this one tower, I'm in a pretty good spot. Let's see, I put the giant down a little late, so his bomber got a hit off, and now my tower's down to 272. Again, that's kind of weird. Same number. But then I'm going to counterattack really well here. I've got the Hog and the Giant on the same tower, which is crazy. And I'm going to take his tower first. He's going to come back, take my tower. And pretty soon it's just going to be King Tower on King Tower. And you see he knows that he has Rocket. So he put the Hog on the other side. Because he's like, alright, I'm just going to use my Rocket. And basically he evens it up. But he used so much Elixir now. If you look at the Elixir count, I've got all this stuff down. I've got a Hog, minions, some skeletons, my Ice Spirit. And we were at the same Elixir, but I had so much stuff down that he really couldn't stop that push. So now he's coming in with his own counter push. So he's got the Hog, but I shut it down. The Spear Goblins are going to die. The Bomber's going to die. Those minions are doing a great job at just taking out like all of this stuff. And Musketeer gets a pop off. He freezes my Hog Rider, but the Hog Rider is going to survive long enough to get one more punch and take out his King Tower. So it was actually a pretty crazy game. You know, most games they go 3-2. Like once you destroy all those arena towers, it's just nuts. But here's another one. This guy, he doesn't have completely maxed tournament standard cards, so I'm not like terribly surprised that I beat him. He did have some lower leveled cards, but I mean, hey, not everyone you play is going to be an absolute pro. So I guess this is just a good replay to show how this deck works, you know, just kind of rolling over somebody. So, but it wasn't like the first replay. It wasn't like a quit that your like opponent left the match or anything like that. So we do sit at full Elixir here for just a couple minutes. Well, not minutes, I guess, a couple seconds. And I decided, all right, I'll go Tombstone. You know, if I can get a little bit of an Elixir advantage, because if I put the Tombstone down and they don't immediately respond, then it's going to let me kind of refill my Elixir up. And you see here, he's going to push like crazy on this right side and kind of forget about my Hog. He put the Princess down, and that's going to kill my Hog, but I don't think that really was his intention. So here comes my Giant on defense. I zap away some of the skeletons just to keep it alive, you know, a couple seconds longer, which is huge because my Musketeer is going to get a lot of really good damage in. And using that zap let me cycle back around to my Tombstone, which is really helpful. So that's going to shut down these elite barbs. And now all of a sudden I've got an Ice Spirit coming in. That's going to jump and kill the Princess. And now the Musketeer is going to get shut down by these the minion horde. But look, 5 minions coming in. I put down only 3 minions, and it completely shuts it down. That's what I was mentioning earlier, is that the minions are a really good defensive card for how cheap they are. So now we're tied in Elixir, and I've got his tower down to 513, and he hasn't even touched me yet. So you see he is sitting on a Giant Skeleton and 3 Musketeers. So I don't know what happened here. I put my Giant down, and he like waited to see if I would do something else. I'm not sure why, but he is going to go 3 Muskies in the back. But he really let me get a lot of Elixir built back up. And of course, putting the 3 Musketeers next to each other, that is a bad idea. So a simple zap fireball can just completely take those out. And this right here I think is the key. So if you see me put these minions down, they kill that Valkyrie before she can spin and kill my Musketeer. So my Musketeer is going to hang around in the back this whole time with like 1 health and just get off a ton of damage, which is fantastic for taking out that tower and then you know, just doing a little extra damage. It's really great. So he's got all this stuff coming in now, which I can fireball that away. But you see my Hog, he completely forgot about that up top, and that was an easy 3-0 victory. And this deck is a lot of fun. Like I mentioned before, people don't know how to handle people either know how to handle Giant or they know how to handle Hog, but they don't know how to handle both. So this type of deck, it's pretty good on defense. Like you saw, we shut down Golem pretty well, using that Giant to kind of be like a counter tank, and then Musketeer and all that stuff can just clean up. You know, when they put down Golem, it's a really expensive card, so it's going to be hard for them to get other stuff down. You know, they don't want to maybe waste their fireball to try to get rid of my Musketeer, because first of all, that won't kill it all the way, so then they're going to have to use something like Zap to finish it off, and then by the time they get done doing all that, then they basically spent 6 to kill my Musketeer, which was only 4, and they already had their Golem down, which costs 8, so you can just see how expensive that's going to get really fast. So right now I'm just playing around with some new decks. You see I kind of fell back down below 4,000 for the first time in a long time. The season reset, and now I'm at 39.97. So with this new meta with the elite barbarians and stuff, my typical deck, which is this one, wasn't working out too well. In fact, I actually had Inferno Tower in here, and this was my deck that I used to push all the way to 4,000. But now I put in Tombstone, which actually makes it cheaper and is a better defense, I think, to Elite Barbarians and stuff like that. So anyway, leave a subscribe and thumbs up if you like this video. Let me know if you try this deck out and how it works for you. I'd love to hear, if these decks are working. I know some of my other decks, people leave comments and say, hey, like this deck is great. I pushed up like 500 trophies in 2 days. I love hearing that stuff. This is great if these decks work out for you guys. Plus this one, it's just a little fun. I haven't really messed around with the Hog Rider all too much. But he's a good card. For me personally, I don't like using Elite Barbarians and Hog Rider just because everyone else uses them. So I feel like it defeats the purpose of the game if like everybody uses the same 2 cards. So for me, I really try to make the best decks I can without these cards. So even though this one does have Hog, I think I, maybe switch it up a little bit with this Giant to take a different spin on this whole Hog Rider situation going on right now. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Let me know if this deck works for you. A bunch of different wins. I'm on a good streak with it right now, so I'm going to keep going, and we'll see how far we can get with it. But as for now, anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.